Most people over 60 assume that the swelling in their ankles, the fatigue that never seems to go away, and the blood pressure that keeps creeping up are just part of getting older. Your doctor might even tell you the same thing during a checkup, but that explanation leaves out a very important detail. Kidney function doesn't just fade away on its own. It actually gets pushed by outside forces. Chronic oxidative stress and low-grade inflammation work against your renal tissue for years before a single symptom ever shows up. By the time your body finally signals that something is wrong, the damage has already been building up quietly for a long time. What if the one thing that could slow down that entire process has been sitting in your kitchen cabinet this whole time? And there is a spice that researchers have spent years studying, specifically for its effect on renal tissue. The active compound inside it has appeared in peer-reviewed journals as one of the most powerful natural protectors of kidney filtration. In the next 10 minutes, you will learn exactly what clove water does inside your kidneys when you drink it at night, the 3 measurable changes it triggers with consistent use, and how to prepare it correctly so you are actually getting the full benefit. And so what makes clove water different from everything else out there? The reason cloves are not just another wellness trend comes down to one specific compound called eugenol. This is the primary part of the clove that accounts for about 70 to 90% of the spice's biological activity, and it behaves very differently inside the body than most antioxidants you have heard about. Here is the specific problem it helps solve. Your kidneys filter your blood through millions of tiny units called nephrons. Each one of those nephrons contains a cluster of microscopic blood vessels that pull waste out of your circulation. After you turn 60, those nephrons face 2 major threats every single day. The first is free radicals, unstable molecules that damage the cell walls of your renal tissue. The second is chronic inflammation that slowly scars the filtration membrane. Research published in Food and Chemical Toxicology has shown that eugenol reduces measurable markers of oxidative kidney damage. That means it does not just help in theory, it produces results that researchers can actually see. In plain terms, eugenol neutralizes those free radicals before they can ever reach the nephron walls. Think of it as a nightly sweep through your filtration system that clears out the oxidative debris that would otherwise build up. That oxidative stress speeds up the natural 1% annual decline in kidney capacity. 1% sounds like a small number, but over a decade it adds up to a real loss of function, and oxidative stress makes that loss happen much faster. Now, you might be wondering why the timing of this drink matters so much. During sleep, your body shifts its resources toward repairing your cells. This is when growth hormone rises and tissue recovery starts to speed up. Drinking clove water after dinner means the eugenol is actively moving through your system during that repair window instead of being cleared out before the work even begins. And there is something else eugenol does that most people do not expect, something that directly affects how your kidneys regulate your blood pressure and fluid levels. Let's talk about the 3 changes clove water triggers inside your kidneys. When researchers use the word irreversible in connection with cloves and kidney health, they are not talking about damage. They are talking about a permanent kind of healing called adaptation. These 3 changes are not just temporary boosts that vanish the moment you stop drinking the tea. They are deep shifts in how your kidney tissue works at a cellular level. And when you use this remedy consistently, those benefits start to stack on top of each other. The first change begins with inflammation, which is where almost all of the silent damage in our bodies starts. Chronic low-grade inflammation acts like a hidden engine that drives kidney disease forward. The scary part is that it doesn't usually hurt or show up on your face. Most people carrying this inflammation have no idea it is even there, but it slowly creates scars on the tiny filtration membranes inside your kidneys. Once that scar tissue forms, it can no longer filter your blood. It basically just takes up space where healthy tissue used to be. Alginol steps in to stop this process by blocking specific enzymes that cause swelling. This is the exact same pathway that many prescription anti-inflammatory drugs try to target. The big difference is that common over-the-counter pain meds can actually reduce blood flow to your kidneys and make the damage worse with long-term use. Research found in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology shows that eugenol provides this anti-inflammatory help without that dangerous trade-off. Once you consistently stop the inflammatory cycle in those tiny filters, your tissue stops building up new scar-like damage. While this won't erase the scars already there, it stops the problem from getting any worse, and you will see the effect build up over several weeks. The second change is all about blood flow inside the tiny clusters of vessels called the glomeruli. These clusters sit right at the entrance of your kidney's filtering units, and their whole job is to push blood through a thin membrane so waste can be pulled out. Because they are so small, they are incredibly sensitive to any changes in pressure. When your blood pressure goes up, these tiny vessels take the hit first, and causing the membrane to thicken and lose its ability to clean your blood. This is why high blood pressure is one of the leading causes of kidney trouble for people over 60. The filtration system often pays the price long before the heart does. Eugenol has natural properties that help your blood vessels relax. It gently opens up the walls of those small vessels, taking the heavy pressure load off those sensitive capillary clusters. Over time, less pressure on those membranes leads to better results on your lab tests, specifically regarding a waste marker called creatinine. And most seniors notice a practical sign of this improvement before they even get their blood work back, usually in the form of less swelling in their legs and ankles. That puffiness is simply fluid your kidneys couldn't get rid of. When the flow improves, your fluid balance shifts and that daily swelling starts to fade away. The third change is where that word adaptation really starts to make sense. Eugenol does more than just clean up the toxins currently floating in your blood. It actually sends a signal to your body to start producing more of its own protective antioxidant enzymes. Studies published in journals like Phytomedicine have shown that cloves help your kidneys create more glutathione and other protective shields. And this distinction is very important. When you take a normal vitamin, the protection only lasts as long as that pill is in your system. But when your body starts making its own defense enzymes, that ability to protect itself stays with you. Your kidneys become much more resilient on the days you drink your clove water, and eventually they stay stronger even on the days you don't. The whole defense system gets rebuilt from the inside out, which is why this is a lasting adaptation and not just a quick fix. Now let's talk about how to prepare it. The recipe is very straightforward, and keeping things simple is actually the best way to do it. You only need 2 or 3 whole cloves steeped in about 7 ounces of warm water. Make sure the water is not boiling. This is a very important detail because heat above 212 degrees Fahrenheit starts to break down the eugenol. If you use boiling water, you might get a lot of flavor, but you will actually destroy the active compound you are looking for. Bring your water to just below a simmer, drop the cloves in, and let them sit for 20 to 30 minutes. Prepare this after dinner and drink it right before you go to bed. Do not add any sugar or honey. The drink is already quite mild and has a pleasant, woody taste that is easy to swallow. What you can expect during the first 2 weeks is usually pretty subtle. You might notice a little less bloating at night, or find that your eyes and ankles aren't quite as puffy when you wake up in the morning. By weeks 3 and 4, many seniors find that their morning blood pressure readings start to look a lot more consistent. The bigger changes, the ones your doctor sees in your blood work, usually take about 2 or 3 months of daily use. That is how long it takes for your body to fully ramp up its own internal antioxidant production. Before you go to the kitchen, there are a few important things to keep in mind. If you are currently taking warfarin or any other blood thinners, you should know that eugenol has its own mild thinning effects. Adding cloves on top of your medication could change how your blood clots, so you definitely need to talk to your doctor first. You should also avoid clove water if you have an active stomach ulcer, because it can sometimes irritate a sensitive stomach lining. And if you have a surgery scheduled, make sure to stop drinking this at least 2 weeks before your procedure to avoid any issues with bleeding. For those already managing kidney disease at stage 3 or higher, the amount of cloves in this recipe is very low and usually considered safe, but usually is not the same as always. So please check with your kidney specialist before adding anything new to your daily routine. One last thing, keep the dose at 2 or 3 cloves. Using more is not going to make it work any faster. High amounts of concentrated clove oil can actually be dangerous. This simple water recipe stays right in the safe zone where you get all the benefits without any of the risks. Think about how hard your kidneys have worked to filter everything life has thrown at them for 60 years or more. By drinking 2 or 3 cloves steeped in warm water after dinner, you give your body a simple nightly tool to push back against the heavy load it carries every single day. Just let them steep for 30 minutes and drink the mixture before bed to see the best results. If you do this consistently for 30 days, pay close attention to your morning swelling and your next blood pressure reading. You might be wondering what other kitchen ingredients support kidney filtration after 60, and that is exactly what the next video covers. One of those powerful ingredients is probably sitting in your pantry right now, so I will see you over there.